volatile and emotional this Phoenix team can be.
And the key for them is not getting too high. You know, this Minnesota Lynx team, pretty even keel, but
Controversy is brewing in the WNBA, and it's centered around one name, Angel Reese. Her wild reaction to the MVP vote has sent shockwaves through women's basketball, raising serious questions about fairness and transparency in the league's voting process. Today we'll dive deep into the heated debate, the surprising reactions, and the implications this controversy could have on the future of women's sports. The WNBA MVP vote is typically a time for celebration and recognition of the league's top talent, but this year it's been anything but. Angel Reese's reaction to receiving an MVP vote has sparked a wave of controversy that has spread like wildfire through the basketball community. It wasn't just her excitement that caught people's attention, but the context of her celebration. Many felt that recent performance throughout the season didn't warrant such recognition. Let's break it down. In the WNBA crucial games last season, Reese had a shooting percentage of 34.7% and an efficiency rating that was lower than other key players in the league. However, she got a vote for MVP, which typically goes to the players who helped boost their team's performance on the field constantly. Caitlin Clark, who ended up fourth, had one of the best statistically measured seasons for any WNBA team, meaning that her finish was a shocking surprise. The fans and pundits ally the effectiveness of Clark off the floor can therefore not be out, and while she did not win the MVP award, she could have well done way better than most of the front runners, who at least had the decency of getting more playing time and thus higher player efficiency rating per minute, while averaging more points per game than most, if not all, of the likely contenders for the MVP gong. Whenever she took the court, her presence was enough to turn the tide around for her team and make them playoff worthy. From this disparity, we have seen a countless number of reactions from fans, analyzer, and even other players. The majority are now doubting the authenticity of the voting exercise. Is this discrimination in favor of your lover, or is there something you do not know? Either way, the noise has been made has highlighted at least potential problems with the system and brought attention to the fact that the way these votes are done needs to be more clear and, above all, more fair. The controversy has reached the social media platforms, and people have been arguing of what constitutes an MVP. Is it talent which makes a player extraordinary, or is it steadiness or the knack of performing well during crunch moments, or is it media presence, popularity, and the influence of off-court dynamics play that role? The controversy still rages on, and it has emerged that this is no longer just about basketball, but about what the sport and the NBA embodies. Now let's break down why Angel Reese MVP vote caused such a ruckus in the first place. To provide background, recent figures this season have not been all bad, but erratic at best. She has high shooting stoke sometimes and has been involved in turnovers that wrong times this season. Caitlin Clark has been nothing short of a terror on the court, but her PPG rating of 4.0 doesn't tell the whole story. Statistically, Clark outshines recent almost every category, which are average points per game, averages, assists, rebounds, and efficiency ratings. Still, Reese earned a coveted MVP vote, and most thought she did not deserve it based on the season she put up. This is a key reason why fans began to ponder over what constitutes the standards to determine the MVP vote. Is media poppy hilarity or personal narrative obscuring voters' perception of real performance? This only served to enrage Reese. After the vote was made, her celebration was much more than that. She was telling everybody, this award is well deserved, and I think I am at par with some of the best in the league. The backlash was immediate. Twitter and other social networks immediately filled with comment. It's strange. Tigers fans citing that the current voting system requires immediate modifications. Hashtags like Reese controversy and justice for Clark were trending within hours of the MVP announcement that came out in favor of Michael Eat. It is not only the fans who are annoyed. Some out of expert sports analysts have also come out with complaints. They have also emphasized about the basic criteria, stating that an MVP award should be earned on the basis of performance on the ground and not online popularity. Some have even suggested that the vote was influenced more by recent behavior off the court that she could provide on the court. The entire issue has moved on to the authenticity of the WNBA. In other words, can fans' belief of the voting process, or is such a competition turning to popularity? But really, the old adage is proving to be true, and the case of Angel Reese, the MVP vote, is not just impacting her, but the entire WNBA community. The matter has emerged as the lens through which wider concerns over acknowledgement and inclusion in women's sports are examined. Recess party and sub as a quaint controversy obscured what should have been a good opportunity to celebrate all the great athletes in the league. Some athletes, like Caitlin Clark, who have spent their time striving to deliver their best, are now overshadowed by a controversy that really has very little to do with performance. But that is where the issue is at its worst, if the evaluation based on their performance is overshot. Rode by media controversies, then it would be a distasteful precedent for players. Nowadays sports media has a big impact on people's views. Here the media has gone on to focus more on Reese's reaction than actually what Clark has accomplished, thus encouraging sensationalism. This controversy of the MVP vote has placed the WNBA at a crossroads. As members of the media consider this seriously, this is however true as more and more women basketball gain exposure and popularity. Such incidences can either add on the advancement or drag the league down. The MVP vote is meant to be a nod to the talent, recognizing the best players in the league per se, but when the results generate anger, rather compare. Sure, and then there is an issue. People are now asking whether the criteria being used to rate them, and worse still the bias this of the people who are voting. But for a league that is so keen on accomplishing its goal to put itself on the world map, then such controversies can be both a bane and boon. It is a problem because people lose credibility in the award system all together. The main idea is that if fans are confident that the results are affected by something other than performance, trust is broken and word is spread to not waste more time on it. Transparency is key. Fans expect the league to be fair and every vote to be genuine of a player's performance on the field. This has led to debates on the subject of having an and can't set of rules with specific regard to voters. Probably there should be more strict rules concerning MPV votes. It is desirable to know who votes and for what reasons. It is not just about the MPV vote anymore. This incident possibly has the potential to write WNBA scripts for the next few years, depending on how the organization addresses it. In order to rectify these problems and make alterations, the league has pursued the objective of establishing fairness and proper conduct in women's sports leagues. If the WNBA has the potential to meet that challenge, then like so many other things, the controversy could turn into something positive for the league and its fans, making the league and its relations with fans even stronger. The league is already feeling growing hostility from the players, spectators and observers. If these changes are not done, the repercussions are likely to be negative, but if WNBA sees it as an opportunity to change, then it can assure the beginning of the much needed change when it comes to voting, one that will actually respect the talent and effort put it in by these athletes. The backlash stemming from this MVP vote controversy is not a WNBA problem, but it is a women's sports problem. Their recognition, representation and respect are at stake here. To mention but a few, by nature women have always struggled to gain recognition, especially within the sporting disciplines. These are the moments when problems with a warning and recognition can either slow down or advance in the sports world. They don't get prizes with their names engraved on them, they get recognition. To most of them, being named as the MVP is one of the ways of acknowledging efforts. That common form of efforts, time and dedication served went in the police. When officials doubt the authenticity of these awards, it demeans the athletes and their accomplishments and also their legacy. His vote is as problematic as these issues because it speaks to the unfair assessment of athletes and thus requires consistency and grading. Is it sufficient to be an attractive personality and the mass media, or should performance be the criterion as to who should be in the coral team? This fight is a women's sports to prove that getting recognition does not necessarily require that women have to look like the stereotypical man-woman hybrids that dominate the photoshopped posts on social media platforms. In doing so, WNBA and other women's leagues have an opportunity to drive change in these areas for leagues across leagues and set new benchmarks. The